Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how I constructed this half wig that I'm wearing. I don't have any leave out. It's just a headband covering the tracks, and if you guys want I can do a separate video on that. So Dale, I'm missing an earring, but no one needs to know that. Alright, so if you would like to see how I constructed this wig, just keep on watching. Alright guys, so to get started, I'm going to go ahead and take my scarf off, and I know I should probably bring my hair down, but I'm not because I'm lazy. I'm going to go ahead and just put the wig cap on my head. Now the initial plan when I made this half wig was that I was going to leave my hair out. I haven't really been doing that, but because I originally chose to leave my hair out, I was pushing the wig cap all the way back to basically measure how much hair I was going to leave out once the wig was completed. So the way that I am creating the wig, I want my closure to be in the center of my head. That way I can do like half up, half downs, and part it down the middle and things like that. So I'm basically going to go ahead and put the closure on and figure out where I want it, how I want it positioned, and just make sure that it's going to cover whatever it is that I needed to cover. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the concealer pen and start marking how far up I want it, and also just the width of the closure. That way when I get it on my mannequin, I know exactly where it needs to fit at on the wig cap. So now that that part is done, I'm going to go ahead and just double check it, then remove it and take the cap off of my head. I'm going to apply my scarf and then I will get started. So I'm now going to go ahead and take the wig cap and apply it to my mannequin head. And the mannequin head is not as big as mine, obviously. So I'm going to use some wig T-pins to hold the cap down. What I'm going to do is I'm not just going to leave it on there. I'm actually going to stretch the cap just a little bit and then apply the wig pins into the cap and through the mannequin head. Now after positioning the cap, I'm now going to go ahead and start to sew. And whenever I start sewing anything, whether it's a track or a closure, when I make that first initial loop, I actually go ahead and put the thread in between the two strands. I put the needle in between the two strands of thread, and it creates like a tight loop. And then from there I just go ahead and I do what I believe is called a loop stitching. And what that is basically, if you're sewing to the right, you make sure that the thread is always to your left and vice versa. If you're sewing from left to right, you just make sure that the thread is always on your right, and it will basically create a loop effect when you're sewing. And I'll have a clip later on inserted to where you guys can see more clearly exactly what I mean when I mean loop, because I'm also going to do what I believe is called L stitching. But I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up because it's pretty repetitive, and I know you guys don't want to be here all day, and neither do I, so enjoy! And you also want to make sure that as you're sewing your closure that you are stretching the closure to the area on the cap that you measured, because you don't want it to fall short. Alright, and now that that's finished, I'm going to go ahead and start with the front part of the wig. So basically what I'm doing is I'm basically making, like an ear-to-ear measurement of the pieces that I want in the front, because it's going to be more of like a flip back style kind of wig. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my T-pins and push them down through the weft, and I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing that down. And I'm probably only going to put about 2 tracks in the front, and then I'm going to go ahead and construct the rest of the wig around the back and structure it around the closure for the most part. And here is where you will see what I meant by the L-shaped structure. As I get closer, you will see. And basically with the L stitching, instead of keeping the thread to a certain side, when you put the needle through, you're actually going to wrap the thread around the backhand of the needle, if that makes any sense. So you push it through, wrap the thread, pull it through, and that is what creates an L shape. The L shape is more of a secure kind of stitching in my personal opinion, because the thread is actually going through versus just looping around the weft. So it kind of creates a knot every time you push it through. Okay, so for this section of the wig, I'm actually going to take one giant piece and I'm going to start it in the back, but I'm going to loop it all the way around the front, and it's going to circle around the closure. And for the first top half of the wig, I'm going to sew all of the wefts upward, and that's because when I go to put it in a ponytail or a bun or anything like that, I don't want to have any complications with trying to flip it upward if I sew it down. So I'm going to sew it up, that way when I flip it over, it can flip backwards, but it won't be complicated to flip it upwards. And again, when I'm done with the wig, you'll see exactly what I mean. There is a method to the madness, I promise. Now as I start the back tracks, I am going to double the tracks. I'm not going to single weft it how I did in the front. In the front, I only single wefted it because I didn't want it to be that thick since it's going to be in the front of my head. But in the back is fine. So I'm just going to double weft it, and I'm going to start doing the L stitching and pretty much just fill in the wig as needed. I'm going to sew all over the place, which I don't normally do with, you know, if I was to do the closure in the front, tracks in the back, I would just sew the closure and then sew straight up from the back up. But because I am doing a half wig and I don't want any gaps, and I kind of put the closure in the center, I'm basically going to surround all my tracks around the closure.
field trips. Hunter in the booth cause I kill shit. Yo girl will switch, Will Smith, real shit. She can get picked like a flower, looking like the man of the hour. Fresh, I hopped out the shower. Like anybody wanna get it, they can get it. Futuristic spitting fire like Bowser. Wowzers, who do you know that's been grinding like I do? I mean I was rapping like way before high school. Back when you was putting Kool-Aid in the blue tray, trying to make a watermelon ice cube, remember? Now I got a crib and the room's all spacious. Now I got a whip and it sound like a spaceship. Used to drop bars in my dad's old basement. Now I'm your favorite rapper's replacement. Anxious for what's up next. A lot of big shows, a lot of rough sex, a lot of plaques to hang, a lot of cash to make. I need an office space, they got a front desk and I'm flexing like Brock Lesnar. You rap too, but you not better. My flows make them uncomfortable, like wearing a sweater in hot weather. Goddamn.
Okay, so now I'm basically done with the construction of the wig, and you guys can see now why it was that I sewed, you know, half of the tracks upwards, because now when I go to put it in a bun or go put it in a ponytail, it doesn't really have any lumps because the hair is already set up to be put that direction. But it also doesn't have any problem flipping down because the way that I sewed it in the loop method, the tracks would just go ahead and basically just flip backwards over that stitching without any difficulty. And this next part that I'm going to do is completely optional, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take an extra track and I'm going to sew it to the inside on the back of the cap. And when you do that, you want to align it from ear to ear, but from the back. And you're basically just going to sew it inside of the wig cap. And I'm doing this again so that when I pull it up into a ponytail, you don't see the cap through the back. The hair will cover the cap the way that it'll flip over.
I can't recognize you like your name was Caitlyn. Ooh. We are not the same, oh man, I hate to say it. Ooh. Who I am on gram is who I am in person, real.
Okay, so when you're done sewing your track inside of the cap, this is how it should look. And now you can basically just take that hair and flip it up, and when you put it in the ponytail, you shouldn't have any issues, no problems. It should be all set. And this is the final wig product, and in a moment I will show you what it looks like on my head. And just due to blending problems, I didn't leave any hair out when I wear the wig, but I always do wear some kind of headband or something really stylish. But this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks for watching.